How long you coming? Oh, okay. Really?
Life, I'll say, was like, makes 2 week vacation seem like a joke when you take a month off.
That's my buddy station is there in California.
Oh, really?
Who knows exactly where, but I know all he does is fix. Like he's a mechanic.
Okay. That was just fixed airplane,
Tank. What do they call the acronym? LEDs.
Just like the wind, she slipped through my fingers.
You stream this live, right? How is it going?
Yeah, it's
Just like the
Why are you gonna have it on?
beneath her love.
Let's see if I can share something.
And this blinding flash
Um,
of memory.
they can just start doing it live. Hopefully it'll pop up. Here, I can send you the link to the It's under mine, it's under Andy A.
Yeah, I got it.
You want to talk for a second? All right, bro. So we're going. Let me see. You understand this perfectly well as far as like needing the trading gear for new gear, but then like sometimes either you have memories with the old gear, or like in this case, for my case, like it's a backup. It's like cool, I have that at the ready.
You have no idea, dude. Like, I was telling you right now, like this week was one of those weeks that I haven't had since I've started playing, and it was like
What do you mean? Like what do you mean? You have like
it was just a horrible day.
Okay.
It was a horrible,
Gotcha.
horrible day. Like
You're talking about your last gig Saturday?
Friday. Like it was so bad that we busted out like a three channel mixer to get the whole show started. It was just an afternoon where it started off with me loading up my truck. The wind closed the door and locked me out of my apartment. and I live by myself, so it was just like, oh man, how is this gonna work? And then it just led up to the fact that we're driving to the show, and then our sound guy's like, I'm stuck at work, something happened, and I was like, okay, well, I don't got a mixer, and I had to call somebody else, and the other guy didn't answer his phone, and then the other guy was like, yeah, I got a little mixer at home, like 3-channel one, and then we just had to figure it out. I'm just like, how do we do this? And he's like,
How big was the space that you guys were playing at? Was
it probably fits like maybe like 100 people.
Okay, so you could manage with maybe 2 vocals and you were just cranking amps.
I literally had said out to the people, I was like, I've never opened up for myself, but I just did acoustically. Because while I was playing acoustic, I was just taking requests. I just BSing like I would way back in the day.
Yeah.
And then the guys were setting up behind me, and then I told them, all right, right as I finished playing this song, I was like, there's 2 plugs there, just swap it out as soon as I finish this song, let's run it. So we just literally transitioned from one song and then full band. But it was the old faithful little mixer that my buddy had. He's like, yeah, I haven't used it in forever. I was like, bust it out, let's go.
Luckily it still works. That's funny. Well, it's funny because it's like this is obviously it's an Egnator amp, The problem with this little amp is I put too much money into it, so I decommissioned it for good now. I gutted it, and the speaker's still there, but it's whatever. But I had a $400 fuse in there for a $300 amp, like, and it still like gave out on me. I'm like, okay, like you're retired, bro. Like you're done. Like this is probably the only example because I have my other amps. I have a '78 Fender in the first case, and I have my twin reverb in this bigger case there. But it's funny how and this crapped out of me. I think we were at Backwoods. This was one of the last times we played at Backwoods. This would have been before all that stuff. And this would have been, let's say, 2017-ish, early 2018, before I started doing my other stuff, my other job. But this was my road gear, like this was my road amp, like because it was loud enough, but it was compact enough. I'm not trying to take a 2x12, twin reverb everywhere. I love it. I'll never get rid of it, but dude,
your back will be killing.
Yeah, it's like okay. To be fair, we had trailer. No, at this point we had the trailer and stuff like that, so it was fine at then. But like just to load in, load out, and like how much space that amp took compared to like this amp, it just takes too much space. Yeah. So it's like it just didn't seem. It just didn't seem like the best for travel. Anyways, so I want to jump back because I was re-listening to. The original episode me and you did, and again, it was very music focused. And this time, I want to kind of draw it back just a little bit, and we're gonna get back to the music because that's what you're doing now. That's what I want to help promote as well. But so you were born and raised in Monte Alto?
I was born in McAllen.
Okay.
I was raised in Elsa.
Okay.
But then I moved to Monte Alto, which is literally
it's right there.
It's right there. It's the Delta area, Elsa, La Villa, Monte Alto.
Right.
But I grew up, in Elsa for the most part.
Gotcha.
Right there literally right next to my grandma.
Yeah.
So my parents and my grandma were right there. And Elsa's home. Elsa's home. Monte Alto's home more for the fact that all the memories I made as a teenager.
Well, okay. Well, that's where I wanted to get to for this episode because normally when I have someone on for the first time, for one, it's not rushed, and not that we rushed to the music theme, but I had a particular like direction I wanted to do that episode, like so I was very kind of cookie cutter in my head, right? Mm-hmm. But whenever I do a movie with live, which to be fair, I haven't done something like this in a couple of years. Like a lot of like the past 2 years, I took a slumber, and then once I realized, hey, I need to continue doing this podcast, I need to figure out how to do it. It's been mostly by myself because I've been traveling. I'm doing here and there, right? So. Growing up, what would you say your experience was when you were growing up? What are some of your fondest memories? What are some memories where like, oh shoot, we actually did that? Like, what is your let me get a more specific question. What is your earliest memory, and then we'll go from there. What is your earliest memory?
I don't remember a lot because of things, but I think my earliest memory of just being in Elsa is or in Monte Alto too, is just playing outside. My dad always had me. Helping him out with the cattle. We had horses and cows and goats, and we've always had animals. So I think my fondest and always the memory I go back to that I want to relive as an adult is helping out my dad with the hay bales, opening the gates, and doing that, and just messing around in the backyard. I didn't really have friends that I lived next to because when we lived in Elsa, it was kind of the hardest. It was a hard part of town. There was always shootings and stuff. And then when we moved to Monte Alto, my neighbors were cows. So right. The neighbor next to us, he was older. He had younger kids, but I never really hung out with him.
Yeah, and it's funny, and it's relatable even for me because I grew up in this house where you're here right now. Mm-hmm. I was born and raised here. But summers, winter, summer breaks, and school breaks, we were at my grandparents' house. We never called it a ranch because it wasn't. Because we never did ranch. My grandpa raised cattle, but we didn't have horses. It was a 50-50, right? Because it was out in the monte, but we didn't have horses. So it was a medium ground. However, it was the same thing because in literally let's say a 4-mile radius, it was my grandparents' land. Then one of my uncles was their neighbor. Another uncle was the other neighbor. Then 1.5 miles down was my another aunt's house. So all the cousins we could hang out at some point, and but I guess to your point, it was just the fact of for people who may know or may not know, it's living out in the monte, out in the ranch area. It's no one that you don't have neighbors the way you do in a city, the way you have in a town, where it's the suburbs and there's houses and shit like that. So it's interesting that you grew up like that because again, my fondest memories are out when I was out with my my
Yeah,
grandparents'
it's like
house.
when people are like, "Oh, we met. How do you know these guys?" Oh, like I grew up with them and stuff. And I'm like, I really didn't like have. It sounds so lonely, but I didn't really have friends to come over to my house and stuff. But I do remember like going helping out my dad with the cattle and stuff. But like deeper memories, I could say. I mean, I guess if I'm gonna correct myself and I'll swap out what I said, is trail riding.
Mm.
That's probably where my mind goes. Also, we used to ride horses in these long. If you don't know what trail riding is, it's you meet at a point and you're doing a fundraiser. You pay to ride just for raising money, and you take a trail and you come back around, and that you start at point A and point B is where the party's at. You literally just ride the horse to that area, and there's drinking and stuff like that. But as a kid, we'd go and race horses, and I think that's where I met. It's definitely where I met my group of friends that I still have now.
Mm. Mm.
We remember all that because we would do a lot of dumb stuff, like race horses, or like we'd end up shoving each other or something, or playing football in the middle of the night at Delta Lake.
Right, yeah. Yeah. I got to go to Delta Lake a little bit. I went more when I was young because I actually had a neighborhood friend his dad would take us to we go fishing out there. We go fishing out at Delta Lake. We wake up early on a Saturday and whatever, and it was interesting going. But for me, like that was foreign land. Like we don't because even from here to there, it's still it's still like let's say 35 minutes, 40. Let's say 45 to an hour, like with traffic and everything. Like it takes a little bit to get from here to out that way. So whenever we would go, it was an adventure. We're like 12 years old. Like it was an adventure. So because we wouldn't go too often. What about sports? Like as far as sports, so like I guess while you're in school and stuff like that, what were you did you play like t-ball? Did you play
I
baseball?
played a lot of
football?
baseball when I was growing up. My dad put me in baseball, and I remember playing a lot of baseball growing up. And then I just stopped, and then I did golf. I fell in love with golf
Mm-hmm.
a lot because it was a sport that taught me patience.
Mm.
I'm impatient to a point, but golf taught me something else. And man, I think I learned my most life lessons with golf from my coach from high school, Coach Benavides. Like just so many lessons of life and just hanging out with older people and learning from them. But I did play a lot of golf. I played 4 years in high school, and then before that, I did baseball. But really, sports was just golf and nothing else. They didn't let me play football because the coach was like, "You want to play golf? You can't play football." I was like, "Why? You're gonna hurt yourself, and there's no point in having somebody that hurt themselves on a golf team." And I was always on the golf team, like when we would go play tournaments and stuff. So that is
That was your niche.
it helped me
essentially,
connect to
yeah.
my grandpa because like I got to hang out with my grandpa more because we went to go play golf a lot. He'd go, "Hey, you want to go play golf?" I'm like, okay.
Go play around or whatever. What's a favorite golf course you got to play here that you could think of? I feel like the golf courses aren't like they're not we're not talking Pebble Beach here, okay? We're not talking Pebble Beach. We're just
The Valley has some tough courses.
but I want because I've only played Ebony and I literally played Monte Cristo once.
I played all the courses here except for the South Padre one, but my favorite not because it's pretty or not it's not even around anymore, but if you remember playing there, you have the toughest wrist in the world because the floor was so dry and cracked. It would be Mid Valley Mercedes,
Okay.
like on the way to the stock show grounds.
Yeah.
There's like a little, I guess what you would call a little valley, and they have literally there's cows all around the golf course, and
Okay.
sometimes they'd break in.
Yeah.
But like, it was a tough course because there would be guys coming in out of town and they'd look at the grass and it's like, we were literally playing in a desert. Like there was like no grass. It was just like dried up Bermuda grass.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I didn't even know that existed. That's crazy. That's hilarious. Okay, that's fair. And I am glad you brought up golf because that was one of the things that came up in our conversation last time, where like you played golf up until college, and that's what kind of got you through. Then from there, you kind of transitioned to playing music because I guess it's somewhere in college is when you realized you weren't going to be able to have a career in golf.
Yeah. I realized that I'm not made to be an athlete.
Okay.
So I kind of just
What made you think that? I'm just curious.
I did golf for a little bit. I made a good amount of cash after high school, and it just clicked to me. The funniest thing is that I tell people like that I see that are like, "Oh, I play high school golf," and I'm like, "Just wait till you graduate. It's gonna suck. Something's gonna click in your head where you're gonna be like, oh, I don't have to hit it as hard. And so I started getting better, and I would me and my old coach, we would go and do sundowners and stuff. And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be the best at this, and I just stopped playing. And I want to say that I hurt myself or something, and I picked up the guitar. My mom bought me a guitar. I started taking lessons, and that's it. I literally fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Like hard. Like I didn't go out for at all as a 19, 20, 21-year old. That whole time frame, I just sat in a room with a book and played and listened to like the weirdest things ever, like the Frijoles Romanticos, or like Keith Urban, like everything, like just everything under the stars that I could put my ears to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just realized like, oh, okay, you're not gonna be the best at this. Like,
What who is okay? Because I'm not like knowledgeable in golf that much. I played golf for fun, and I always told the coach, hey coach, yes, I'll go to practice today, and I never win. It's like, hey dude, you don't even like, nah. I'm like, never mind, I'm not going to have baseball. Baseball took over for me. That's what took over really for me. But who was your favorite golf player and why, or who has been your favorite golf player and why?
you'd have to really know golf to know this one. Growing up, my favorite golfer was Camilo Villegas. I think I'm saying that right.
Okay.
And it was just because he was like swagged out. Always, he was like the first guy to be swagged out. And if you look him up, he does this like leg move that I started doing in high school, where he gets very low to the floor. I think if anybody remembers me and played golf with me, like when I was a loser, I would do that. Like, I mean, you gotta be extra to do what he did.
You say he's swagged out. This guy?
Yeah. So they're think of you like right there, that little leg move that he does. He
This
gets
one?
yeah. He bends his knee the way I'm doing it right now, gets all the way to the floor.
That is interesting.
And it was the very first time that anybody I think had ever seen that. And it was just like, whoa, what is this guy doing? What is this?
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You just get down
He gets
there.
down like eye level. Yeah, Camilo Villegas. Everybody was into Tiger and
Right.
Phil
Yeah.
Mickelson.
Right. Yep.
and Bubba something.
I think
forgot-
Bubba Watson.
Bubba Watson because of his massive hits, but like I was real into Camilo Villegas for some reason.
That's
And
dope.
the dude was ripped. He was probably one of
Well,
the first ripped up golfers.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm like, that's why he's able to he's fully balanced because, like, if you see his muscle, like he's in shape.
He's a buff dude.
Yeah, he's in shape.
I don't even know if he plays anymore, but I was a big fan of him.
That's funny. Let's see.
And he's from Colombia.
Turned professional in 2004.
Yeah, he kind of popped off in the early 2000s because I graduated in 2010. So it was around that time that I kind of got real into him.
That's funny. Okay, that's cool. No, that's dope. And see that's the cool thing about like this. Honestly, that's what I really try to revolve this podcast in general is because even when I had JC, I've had JC on here, all the guys that you know, Eddie, Gonzo, all these guys, all my buddies that I grew up on the music side with, and it's cool because those are things that I like because those are things that have shaped us. You know, like in this case, you with this guy, you know, especially because I know golf again. I could sense, even in those 2 seconds that we gave golf some light in that last conversation, I could tell that, you know, golf was your thing. I'm like, oh, okay. And again, listen, I wrote it down. Like, okay, I'm going to bring it up because I was just curious.
It really did play a big part in my life, and it still does. With my friends and stuff, we'll go golfing when we're like, hey, you guys got the day off? It's cool. Drink some beers and play golf.
Yeah.
But like, without golf, I don't think I would have the relationship I do with my grandpa or my uncles. Like, I got to meet a lot of good people. Like literally, if you want a sport where you can make friends, golf is the sport, dude. Because you could literally just go out there by yourself and end up running into somebody and be like, "Hey man, how's your day?" Just chill as that. I met Zeke Reina, the guys that owned Reina Barbecue through golf, and I've met a lot of good friends just through golf. And it's like the one sport that you can just never be great at. You can't be great. I mean, and it just looking at Tiger's career, it'll tell you that you can't be on the top forever.
I saw a TikTok just this morning, I think, and it was he. I guess he was matched up with another player, obviously, but they're finishing up. I guess their round, and he was so the guy that played before him, He putted, but as he was going, he was basically already reaching for the golf ball, like as it hit the ground, as it hit the hole, because he made it. And then Tiger shot his final putt after that, and he mimicked the other guy. And then they were everybody was laughing, and Tiger was laughing, and the commentary was like, Tiger, 10 years ago, you wouldn't catch Tiger smiling, making a
He's
joke.
more relaxed.
Yeah,
he's more chill
relaxed,
now.
and it's like, oh, like that's cool. Like I had a extensive conversation with my mom last night. But my point is like, it's you, whatever you go through, and this is one thing I'm learning even as a 30-year-old, and it's only become more prominent over the past 5 years. I started this podcast. Is like you have to go through that tough stuff. You have to go through tough stuff. It's like to really come out and like. And the way I put it last night, I was like, you have to go through that to just try to do better for the next chance you get with whatever it's a new job, a new person, a new group of friends, whatever it may be, a new career choice. It's like those tough times. Like I have some of myself, but it's what I've seen when I hear people's stories and my mom talking about like my family history and stuff like that, and I'm like. So much trauma, and trauma is a very big word. I think people are using now on social media, which I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's like okay, but are we? And I guess where I go further, I try to go further is like, well, are we improving on these things, whatever, the good and bad. It's interesting to me because that's what leads you to then hopefully do better as a person in whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I think it's speaking of Tiger, it's more like he was very serious and now he's real laid back. But it's kind of like you do something for so long that you love that you realize like, okay, I don't have to be serious all the time. I'm supposed to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if I connect this to like me with music, like I think if I looked at myself like 6 years ago and I was playing a show and the monitors went out, I'd be so pissed. I'd be like, oh man, who's messing me up here? And like, we played a show with Parker, and it was like a big show, and I probably would have got super pissed back in the day. But at this point, I was just like, all right, boys, let's roll with it. Yeah. I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna try to sing in tune with whatever is I can hear.
Whatever you can hear.
And at one point, I was just like, okay, this is tough. I'm losing my voice over this because it was loud.
Yeah.
So I just kind of something that I probably would never do. I was like, all right, guys, can somebody throw me a beer up here? Like, I literally took the time to stop for a second.
Yeah.
Told my guys, let's reset. Let's BS around. And it was the coolest moment ever. Just me being able to realize, hey, relax. You've done this for so long. You didn't start with this. You've improved in yourself in knowing where you're at in your head singing. But you don't need the monitors. I remember seeing this video of Vince Gill's monitors blowing out at the Opry, and it was so bad that he said, let's keep going. But like, it's the sense of don't get mad, be professional about it, and run through it.
Yeah.
Go burn yourself while you're at it, but walk through it.
Right. Yeah. So I have a very particular memory. It actually had nothing to do with the monitors, but it had to do with the set list because. At this time, I was playing with Royce Elise, and like he's the one who let me really break in like my guitar chops, like and
I remember that.
And like because with him and we had a by the time I learned all the songs that he knew, we had a 150 song repertoire. It was like 150 songs. We had 3 pages of music that we could throw on the cuff, and like finally when I became proficient and a better guitar player, it was like, cool, now we have these songs that we can revolve around his original songs. Personally, I loved his original songs. Like Heartbreak Roulette, bro. Broken Hearts is so cliche.
Dude, I'm thinking of covering one of his songs because it's Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, it's so good,
intro,
bro.
Dude, the intro, if Roy sees this, dude, I've always told him I love the arrangement of those tunes.
Yeah, no, and you know, I guess I'll tell 2 short stories just because I feel it relevant to like just the professionalism and like trying to make a damn living playing music, and even now, like I did it for 6 years, and now almost 3 years of not being in the industry, my approach would be different because now I took that step back. I'm like, oh well, what if we would have done this we would have been TikTok famous now. You know,
You have no
Like-
idea how many times that runs through my head.
Yeah. yeah,
Like, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time already. I was talking with, I don't remember who I was talking to, but, you know, there's a lot of bands that have gone through us, like, not through us, but, like, time-wise.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that pop up, and then they disappear, and they never come back. And I am just grateful enough to have the longevity with the guys, and not just have, like, random hired guns, but to have the same dudes that I can call brothers and, like, just grow with them professionally, and it's tough. It is tough, but that is where the long term makes me think back and go, man, what if I had jumped on this TikTok thing earlier, or what if I should have started doing this a long time ago,
Yeah.
but it's never too late.
It's not, and well, and that's given like even like me doing like this type of content for now. It's like, you know, like it is not too late. You know, it is not. How okay? Let me just tell a quick story. So the professional. So it was me, and so we were playing. It was an outdoor gig. It wasn't Donna. We opened up for Roger Krager. It was a 4th of July event, I think, and Roger Krager played, and somebody else. Anyways, that's not really relevant, but so we made the set list, and we would play like 60 minutes, whatever it was, because we were like the one before them. We were the opener or whatever. But they wanted us, the crowd legit wanted Roy to play another song, which is pretty dope. Like to say, hey, like one more song or whatever. And he started giving them like choice, like, oh, do you want to play Six Pack? Do you want to play Corpus Christi? And I think we hadn't played Broken Hearts So Cliche yet. And I love that goddamn song. I like that song. And by this time, when Gonzo was playing with us for a little bit, he played with us for like 6 months or so. In that moment, he helped create like a band intro like sequence for Broken Hearts So Cliche. So I like playing down at the end because there's a band intro, there's a solo, there's movement in the song, and everything. Six, you know, they wanted us to play Six Pack, which is, it's a good song, but I was like, but we didn't even play the whole set list. Like I was like, but we didn't. And I remember being 21 at this time, and I'm like, but we're not. Like, why aren't we playing the whole set list? Like, why are we playing songs 2 or 3 times? Why? Like that was me. I'm not. Like, my point is I didn't handle it in a professional way because I got pissed and I was emotional. I feel that emotion even now, just talking about the story, because that's a moment where now looking back, it's like, hey, dude, calm down. Like it's not. I think it's not wrong to be emotional and like that. I think
Passionate.
exactly, because that's what shows that you care about. Like I'm like, dude, but I like your damn songs. Like I want to play your songs, right? That was always my thing, but. That was just that's a moment in those 3. I played with him for 3 years. You know, I had to do with Roy for a minute. But yeah, 2012 to 2015, I played with Roy. But that particular gig, I just remember he's everybody like Six Pack. So he's like Six Pack, and I'm like, and I obviously it's a guitar intro, right? So I'm like, man, I'm gonna not do the guitar intro. I was like, I'm gonna like scapegoat like this song and like just tear it apart. But when we played Six Pack, and I was so pissed, and Roy talked to me after. He's like, bro, like. You can't be looking like that on stage, and he was completely right. Like completely, like,
yeah.
And once I calmed down, I never said, "Oh yeah, you're right. I'll do better next time." But like, I was like, "Hey," but I did tell myself, "I'm like, hey, dude, like, there's 2,000 people here." And
Yeah,
they're
I learned
watching."
that the hard way. I give a lot of credit to my guitar player Red. He's taught me a lot, and he's been in this longer than me. But he's the one that sees everything from a calm point of view. When everything's burning and going to hell, he's just like, "Yo, man, you can't show how pissed off you're on stage. Wait till after or something, but just eat it up, dude." And I've learned that, like, if you see me pissed off on stage, it's probably because the song's so good.
Yeah.
But I rarely anymore do anything to show like what we're doing on stage. To professionalism has taken over.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I guess like I kind of already tied it in because I was just gonna bring up how Gonzo, like going back to creativity and like the business, and like you should be enjoying yourself as you're going through the business. Like you should be enjoying yourself in the process. And one of the times that we did that was one weekend we were playing Hidalgo County there in Westaco, and then Gonzo's like, hey, because Gonzo's playing, and he's like yelling like he's yelling what to do next, right? And we're listening, and we're like, okay, cool, like okay, let's try it. And then he like he lowered like everybody, right? So we're like, and we're going through the little intro, and he's like, Roy, like band intro. So he starts introduces the band. Once he introduces the band, then we crescendo again, and we come in, and I go into the final solo, and then we close out the song. Well, we create in creating that we ended up playing Bruce Street like within the next like week or two,
I remember that.
and so we sound checked the band intro, and to go from Hidalgo County PA system to Brewster Street PA system, 10,000 watts of like amazingness, and poor Lou, R.I.P. Lou's he was a sound engineer for a long time. I learned later that he had a lot of issues, but it seemed like Bruce Street was what kept him kind of going. You know, he dealt with a lot of like alcoholism and stuff like that. But I heard. So I left Corpus in 2015. So let's say around 2017 was when I heard he had passed away at some point from them. But I had known him for those 3 years. Like he was a sound engineer he's the only one I knew from there at Brewster Street. And yeah, Mr. Louis. He was always nice to me. You know, even, whether I was because at the time I was marketing myself as like a musician, blah blah. So like I would go to Brewster Street to meet Josh Ward and all these guys, John Slaughter, Cody, all the guys all these guys that are out there now.
It's a gold mine there. It's like a lot of people don't think how impactful Brewster Street is. I still haven't played there. I don't want to so bad.
Oh, dude, yeah. Now I don't have any like. Roy was the one who had that connection because he got to get on the radio at KFTX, and you know they were all, and you know the people of Corpus were awesome in that aspect, right? Because from Corpus North, they support live music differently.
Oh yeah,
they support live music and they support original music differently.
I love going. We're actually going that way this Friday.
I saw that. Yeah,
Arandis Pass.
I was like,
I got a couple shows headed down that way. That whole area just loves they love to dance, but they love to listen too. They listen to the songs. It's getting like that here though.
Yeah.
We played Friday. That gig that was a total shit show on Friday. For our end.
Yeah.
They listened to the songs though. Like we had a moment that made everything better, and this is where professionalism just goes a long way in the music industry and anything in life. Because I was extremely frustrated, but I said, "The show must go on. I'm not gonna look pissed off now." I left it in the truck. We got on stage. I told the bar guy, I was like, I'm going to do something different today because something's going on. He's like, no problem. He's like, all right, that part of the professionalism is taken over. He knows what's going on. He knows that I'm going to do something different that he didn't ask for.
Yeah.
So we're playing. The whole show goes through great. And I forgot about the shit show. I was like, oh, we're having a great time right now. And then to the point where I said, guys, can I play you some of our songs that are new? And I tested out some songs. I told them the story. And I felt the connection. There's a song that Eric Church sings, and it's like, I don't do this for the money or something like that. But when the song just hits right, and they sing my song, and we have a song called "Kiss My Country Ass," and I told the whole story behind it, and everybody was just like, "Ooh, oh, yeah!" Like I was just like they were listening to the part of it, and I was just like, "Oh shit, this is cool!" Like. This is not a bad day after all.
Yeah.
But that's where I would give anybody advice for the professionalism in music or anything. I mean, tying this back to golf, if it wasn't for me learning patience with golf, I would not have days like the Friday.
Yeah, that's super dope. That's super good. What do I have? Okay, so going back to, you had, I guess, where you realize, so let's take this all back. So we talked about a little bit of music and business, but let's draw back a little bit to college time, like college era.
Mm-hmm.
You got a guitar now. I guess I would like a little more detail on like your American Idol experience, like just kind of. I don't. We can venture to say top to bottom. I'm just curious about what your experience was from beginning to end and the whole process. And what made you choose American Idol versus The Voice or anything else and stuff like that?
I don't think The Voice was as popular at the time. Okay. It had just popped off, and I don't even.
What time frame was this?
It was 2014, 13. It was my last year of college, and before I go into this, the whole thing of me wishing I did things differently going back. I wish I played a lot more in college to my college friends, and they probably would have stretched me out further, or pushed me further into where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I'm doing it now because we have that college crowd, but like, I was hanging out with my friends. My buddy Saeed Nevada, he's was one of my mentors. I kind of passed him now, and at least we talk about it. But we're just talking about like, dude, we should go try out for American Idol, and I'm just like, why? Like, I don't see any point in it. Let's just keep playing. At the time, I was very naive, and so I had a midterm. Shout out to Doctor. I want to say her name was Lemansky. She literally told me, "You're good. You don't have to take your midterm. If you're doing that, I need proof when you come back."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, I got you." So
what class was that? You know,
it's
what subject it
man,
was?
I want to say it was one of my comp theory classes, the communication theory. I want to say it was one of those.
It makes sense. I mean, someone in communications, like, yeah, what, like,
Well, she
why
was
not?
my advertising club president. I was in the advertising club, and she was the person in charge of it. And I kind of asked her, like, dude, like, I have this opportunity to go to Louisiana. They didn't come to Texas that year. And I'm going to leave, and I probably won't make the midterms. Like, you're good. As long as you have proof when you come back, we'll work something out. So we took off. It was the craziest week, and I'll never forget that whole weekend. We left, I want to say on a Friday, early in the morning, packed up our stuff. It was me, my best friend Isai, my closest friends now, Danny, and then his brother. And we took off, and we went to Louisiana. We got there, and we went to Bourbon Street, and we sang on the corner of Bourbon Street. And that was the first time that I actually said to myself, like, wow, this is cool, man. Like, I'm singing to some random people. And then the whole, I mean, I don't think I'll get in trouble for this, but the whole experience of the American Idol was just like waiting in line for like what seemed like 6 hours just to get into the part where I get to sign a paper that says where I'm from, what do I do, why am I here? And I saw the TV aspect of it, and it was very different. I think I could not tell people the TV aspect of it until they really see it, and then it makes your mind boggle, and it's just like, okay, it's a TV show. You got to remember that.
Right.
But it taught me a lot. I follow some people that I met that day, and they were doing really great things. I met so many people, and that moment that I sang Rich Girl by Hall & Oates and Bootsy Boogie for the first people that I went up to, because there's a multiple process. There's a 4-step process before you get to the fourth round, which is
With
Keith
the
Urban,
judges.
the judges that were there.
Judges on TV.
Keith Urban was there that year. That was one of my main things that I was like, I want this.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I made it to the first round, sang. They said, go to the back. I cannot tell you how exhausted I was that day. We got there at 6 in the morning. We didn't leave till like 9 at night. Like, without eating, without nothing. Just waiting, getting interviewed, American Idol has interviews of me and their B-roll footage and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw us in like one particular episode, and that's it. But I made it to the second round. My buddy didn't get to make it to that round, but I made it there, where I sang to some producers. They had these cameras, and they asked me, why are you doing this? And I said, at the time, I was just like, I love music. And then I just sang. They stayed quiet. They said, go to the next room. And I went to the next room, and there was more cameras, more producers, sang the song. They made me sing 3 songs. I was so...
And you're doing full songs?
No, I was doing half songs.
Okay. That's
So
what I figured.
I was singing like the verse and chorus, and then they're like, stop.
Yeah, they'll stop.
And then they put the guitar down, like real blunt. And I realized that moment, I was just like, you're not the best. Everybody else is better always. So strive to be better. But you'll never catch up, so don't stop. And it was just like, in my head, I thought that because I was so bummed, because they didn't tell me why I didn't make it. They just said, sorry, we're not what we're looking for. And I was like, okay. And then we left, and I was kind of bummed. And it was like the first time that I got like a hard reject, like a hard, like, you suck. Like in my head, was like, you suck.
Yeah,
But-
that's how it feels anyways.
But the being around so many talented people felt like a steroid to my body because I was like singing the best that I could at that moment. And I went home, did a bunch of cover videos, started writing. Some guy called me, we started a band, and now I'm here. I didn't stop after that.
That was so man. You'll be reaching 10 years soon.
Yeah.
We're a couple years.
Started the band in
away.
2014.
So yeah, you're 8 years.
Yeah.
In. That's too bad. No, that's cool. That's cool. Like I was just curious. Like, I mean, I'm of the same boat of like none of that. I mean, I guess because I've been primarily guitar player versus singer, and I like singing harmonies because if there's no harmonies, like yeah, like I want harmonies. Okay, I'll sing the harmonies. I'll learn how to sing harmonies. That's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. That is. Let's see if I have anything else. What is? Oh, go ahead.
I did learn the dark side of the music industry that day, though.
As far as
I saw,
as far as,
oh my god, just seeing how cutthroat everything can be. It's like, that is the one thing that I'll tell anybody to learn, is that no matter what business you're in, music, anything, we can be friends. But if somebody's looking for talent, hi man, move out of the way.
Yeah.
It's like being in any business. Like I want first.
Yeah.
I'm here for it first.
I don't know if you had to have experience because you were in, I'd say early enough because I got to see the tail end. Now I don't give a shit. Like people can fuck off for certain things, but like I heard people would get mad. People like, okay, I guess you can tell me if this is still true today, which it might be, but where people were like mad about like their placement in the show. It's like, hey, bro. People are here to see Easton Corbin, not here to see you. Like,
yeah.
I want you to do good. I actually want you to do good, but I just remember there were moments where like, oh well, this guy says he wants to do this, and
I'll probably get in trouble for stuff like this. But
well, we're not saying names. I'm not.
No, I'm not saying anybody's name. It does happen though. It does happen, and everybody knows that I'm kind of the screw up of the scene. I'll do little things here and there. It's like, why? What are you doing? You liked it, right? But. Like,
I'm like, bro, we're playing Wild Bills in Harlingen. Chill.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I played.
Like, no one's opening for anybody. We're entertaining the crowd. They just remodeled their bar.
I did an acoustic gig with my grandma.
It's like, I'm opening. I'm like, chill. You can open. You can do whatever you want, bro.
The placement thing is massive. I think it kind of
it makes sense to you. Like, it's like we want more ears. But
I will say that it does. It's about the ears. But I actually told my guys this the other day. It doesn't matter where we're placed. I probably never get offended, but it just makes me want to work harder. As if I'm the first person up there. In my words, I was like, I want to shit on everybody. I want to do so good, but the professionalism behind it is set up the big guy. You're there to support the big guy, so don't outplay them. But but then in the back of my mind, I want to be like Eric Church and be like, I want to play so good that they remember me.
You know what I remember when you say like you're here to support like that main act. I got to see Jack Ingram open up for Trace Adkins at State Farm, and music wise alone, like there's some Trace Adkins stuff that I like, but I more went because it was a country concert, so I wanted to go. And Jack Ingram, I didn't know he was from Texas. I didn't know anything about the Texas scene. Like I just heard because he had whatever his first hit was that went number one like, on CMT.
Barefoot and Crazy.
Yes, yes, he had just released that tune. And he opened up for Trace Adkins here. And, dude, they gave him no shit. They gave him probably like from here to the camera of stage space.
Oh,
and
dude,
then
it
across
all the time.
And he was the opening act for then they obviously moved the curtain so that Trace Adkins can have a show. And I didn't know what I knew, like even when I started playing, but when I saw him, like, oh, like that's kind of weird. Because then when Trace Adkins came out, it's like this whole light show and like this schematic.
It's all about the professionalism. Back to that though, because I know that we had a show where I was like super cramped up, and the band that we played with, I kind of was like, hey guys, can you help us out and kind of give us a little more leg room? Yeah, dude, no problem. Now if you don't ask, it won't happen.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. Like
that's true. One of the coolest guys I got to meet while doing this whole thing was Easton Corbin. Him and his crew.
They're awesome.
100%. And this is not even like professionalism. They are just good people.
Yeah.
like I was like, oh, like he's different because then now there's another artist that I've mentioned before, but I don't want to mention right now. Same caliber as him, but total 180 as far as just
Yeah.
people.
You
Like,
have your divas and you have your
Yeah,
musicians
yeah.
and you have your people.
yeah, no, that's what it was. That was that's the scenario because yeah, Eastern Corporate. I will talk 100% like great about Eastern Corporate because I never had a bad experience with him and his crew.
Yeah.
And the crew has a big part in like the perception of the
They
singer and the
do. They
band.
do. Like I had the most fun I've had in a long time last Saturday, stage wise, sharing with the people. Um, it felt like
Where'd you play on Saturday?
we played.
What was it?
Yeah, last Saturday we played at the Sheriff Posse.
Okay, was that
with
Sheriff
Trisha
Posse
Mars.
gig? Okay, cool.
We played with Trisha Mars and they're cool. Their crew was dope, dude.
Good.
They felt like Valley Boys.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're.
Where's he from? Where's he
he's
from?
I want to say he's from Houston,
Okay.
but his whole band used to be Shock and Rider. Like some of them.
Okay.
And so like we just, hey, what's up, dude? Like, you know, real cool. Like,
Yep.
hey, don't
Yeah,
worry,
yeah.
we'll move the stuff. Don't worry, we'll move the pedals and everything. And like their crew is so cool. They're like, hey man, we're gonna have band meeting. You want to come take shots with us? Like nobody does that
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Like it's like,
Yeah.
we're all here to party, man.
Yeah.
We're all in the same bill. Yeah, we got the big show, but like they're so cool. Like
That's
big
good.
ol' shout
That's
out to
good.
them because their crew is awesome, man.
That's good.
And it's people like that. Like everybody wants to help everybody in the music scene because you know, we all have at one point somebody's gonna help somebody. Talking back about Jack Ingram, like I saw a podcast about him saying the same thing I'm saying because Taylor Swift used to open up for him.
Mhm.
It's like he was telling, I think he was telling his kids, he's like, be nice to everybody because you'll never know when you're gonna need somebody or somebody's gonna need you. Like he's like, I'm so grateful that we pranked and we were so nice to Taylor, or he
Right.
said something along those lines, because look at her now.
Yeah.
She can literally buy my life. Like
Right. Yeah.
it's just crazy. Even just looking at like even the Powell brothers, man.
Yeah.
They reached out a hand to Cody because they live like, I want to say they live near each other.
Yeah.
They helped him out with his live stream. Now they got like a couple of shows with Cody, and that's the bill to be on right now. It's just kindness goes a long way. Again, professionalism.
Dude, the story that I feel like I run in circles around because it blows my mind is the fact that in 2011 when I moved to Corpus for college, I went to British for the first time. It was late January, and I moved back to Corpus, or I moved to Corpus, and he was the opening act for Kyle Park. Kyle Park had he was gonna release or had just released "Make or Break Me," and that was cool. I like that record. That record's really good. Cody Johnson was still riding the Texas Kind of Way.
The
#1.
Cody Johnson,
Yeah.
man.
The Cody Johnson man. Like, he was still riding the Texas Kind of wave because he had hit #1 like late 2010, I think 2010. But that wave was still riding. They were still playing the hell out of that song as far as radio and stuff. But when I heard it, and I was like, oh, this is different. Like it was, I had never heard it. I had because I had seen by this time I had seen Pat Green already live. I had seen Jack Ingram, not knowing he was from Texas, but I saw Jack Ingram. Randy Rogers, I had seen him by this time at least once, but not many times. But when I heard Cody Johnson play live, I'm like, oh, that's different.
Dude, I
That's a
remember
different
seeing
kind of
him in
country, man.
spring break on the coast.
Oh yeah, Spring
It was
Break.
like him.
Opening for Randy Rogers.
To this day, that concert, I don't care who says it, that concert was the best concert
Oh, dude.
to ever come through the valley. Jamie Johnson as the main surprise opening
Oh,
act.
you're talking about the one on South Park Drive.
Yeah,
I was like,
dude.
because there was one in Corpus too.
Well, there was one in Corpus, but this was like way back. Like Cody was skinnier than me. Like I remember him like being super skinny.
Yeah,
Cody
super,
Johnson,
super
man. It was Jamie Johnson surprise opening act. It was
I know
Kyle
what
Park,
you're talking about. Yeah.
Kyle Park, Cody Johnson, Casey Donahue, and Randy Rogers, all in one bill.
One bill.
And to see that now, it's just like that's hard to get.
Yeah.
Like that's impossible.
you
Now,
can't pay. There's not enough money to pay.
no, I mean even like now, like how big Cody got after that, and
Right.
Randy, and just everybody.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy where it's easy where they're at because now they can coast. Because they know they're gonna draw 10,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
They know they're gonna sell, which is good. Like that's great. It's just an observation of like, damn, like they did it essentially. They
It's
did
the
it.
grind, dude. It's the grind. It's like right now, my struggle with this whole grind and trying to make it in music is just funding myself. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, when's the new music coming out? I'm just like, I'm trying. When my question right now is, when's the new dollar bill going in my pocket? It's like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
when
it's
is crypto gonna go to
I
go to the
yeah,
moon?
when am I gonna make it to the moon with money so I can get it here? And I'll probably reach out and do like a whole fan fun thing pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because we're already in the talks of recording and stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's been at least 6 months since I talked to you last, as far as that episode I'm talking about. So I know you're already in the works of like getting the music kind of right.
Well, I've written more songs, so I'm
And
back
I
to the
imagine-
drawing board.
Yeah, I imagine you have a whole other list of songs that you have to kind of funnel through to see what's going to make the record. And, are you still? Did you do that acoustic thing that you had planned to do?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Okay, cool.
I
just
did like a
wondering.
little video on YouTube of one of the songs.
I remember the video. I remember the. I seen that.
Yeah, I wanted to put some out, started doing that. So I kind of just want to throw my content out there, just to see which one grabs the attention of people. And not even that, just some of these songs I need to get them off my chest. And like that one was a big one because I wrote that one a hard time in my life, and I just like, man, maybe somebody needs this right now. I just threw it out there.
Yeah.
Literally in the living room, like just set up my phone with the camera and just did
Did it
it.
real quick. Yeah, no, that's good, dude. That's good. See, I'm trying to see if I have anything else. What do you? So you work with a school district.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Are you a teacher?
I'm a special ed teacher.
Okay.
I'm a
I
special
was just wondering because I wrote it down because you had where you're saying at some point you had said that your day job funds like your career. You said it here. You said it here
You gotta
already, but you
balance
said it on that.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And that again, that goes to like me looking back at the music career that I was able to have in 6 years. I was never worried about running out of money, but like I felt like I was just constantly having to like work all the time, and like that's where I got really burned down. That's where music's the only thing that fell through because just the way it's at, so it was.
I people ask me like, look, I really rarely tell people what I do because just like focus on the band kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
But
for
like,
sure.
I've met a lot of musicians. I mean, I've met one of the guys that told me, "Who says you can't do both?"
Mhm.
Was Artie Irina. He's a Grammy Award winning artist, singer, a huge Tejano band. He has a country band now, and he was one of my heroes, like singing wise. For him to tell me like, "Yeah, I have a job too, and I do music. Just work, grind,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, hey, this might make you money. This might not make you money, but you didn't start this for money. You started for a craft and art. So it's just the level of the level that you get to when you start making money. That's the extra. That's just extra.
Yeah.
But like what I do away from the band does fund a lot of it. There's also a lot of little things that I'll be doing right now to help fund all this, but it's
What made you? What got you into choosing to teach versus like just literally?
I literally did a lot of jobs already. I did insurance. I did so many different jobs, but that one just fell because I loved it. Just trying to impact people and helping the younger people and just trying to further like, hey, you can do this too. You can do something you like, because they'll find out that I'll do this and that I play music.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of my ex-students at gigs and stuff, and it's just like, I got a message the other day actually to speak about this. They're like, wow, dude, you've become one of my favorite singers, and I didn't know that it was kind of a jerk to you growing up.
So that's man. You
Like-
careful who you are, how
Well,
you
no,
are
it's
with
just
people. But
it's
fine.
cool to see that
Yeah.
because I want to be able to have an impact to tell people like, dude, chase your dreams and work hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy. All your favorite podcasters, all your favorite Logan Pauls and all that, they have jobs, and then they have what they do.
And that's what I'm seeing now, especially because I came from Southern California. I got to be over there for a couple of years, and the guys that were the biggest influence on me, because it was almost basically the LA area, was just the fact that there's a lot of comedians, and I got really into like watching comedy but then like they have, because they all have their comedy, but then they have their podcasts. And my original question was like, oh, like how are they podcasting? Yes, they have a crowd, so they bring the crowd to, some will stick to the podcast, right?
Mhm.
But I was like, how do they make it work? And I'm like, oh well, the comedy is actually their work that they work at, and that's their primary moneymaker. Now it's taking them 10 years to gain that, and now they just added podcasts. Because and the big thing was also because of quarantine.
Yeah.
Like all these comedians and like people like started making podcasts because they needed an outlet. They needed something. They needed an outlet to still keep talking because that's what they do. They literally talk for a living. You know.
And they're like big. I'm a big podcaster right now. Like, I've like literally been watching the dumbest ones and the coolest ones. I'm real like obsessed right now with Impulsive, with Logan Pauls, and I just started getting into the Nelk Boys just to see that mindset because they're massive influencers right now, and they're just talking and BSing,
Yeah.
and like to the point where like I'll probably say something dumb here, and you get to just bleep it and be like, oh, it never happened, because they do some raw stuff.
Yeah.
And they got
Yeah.
a lot of influential people. Like I'll recommend you the one that they did with Tony Robbins.
Okay.
That was so good.
I saw an excerpt and okay, I'll check it out because I saw a TikTok. They posted a TikTok excerpt, and like on TikTok, I'll follow a lot of those guys because like I feel like I already have my YouTube go tos, which is like Jocko, Chris D'Elia, you know, like it's a mix of like business leadership and like comedy, but like they already fill up my feed, you know, like they already because they post
I don't have enough time in the day to watch all of
because
them.
they post because all the comedians that I watch, they post minimum 3 times a week of a podcast, and they'll still tour Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
It's the grind.
and Sunday sometimes.
It's the grind.
And
dude.
so that's why I'm getting back to like, okay, how can I grind the most efficiently for myself right now?
Squeeze it in. Don't
And,
eat.
right. Yeah. It's like don't eat.
For reals, like
Yeah.
like I'll try to do as much as I can without through my day job and the music career. I'll try to squeeze in as much as I can. Like even like right now, I just squeezed in like a tiny workout before I got here.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is my day off basically.
Right,
Like,
right.
I just wanted to sleep. But dude, just grind and squeeze every day. Like when you started this a while back, I was like, I like this. I won't be part of this Sunday, and I mean, we're sitting here.
Yeah. It took a little bit just because of the way everything happened and. Dude, like I said, like the ideas I have now, I wish I would have had the pause to write down, but also I didn't have like. I was at some point worried about my finances because it got to that point where I'm like, well, fuck, like there's if there's no finance, then there's nothing right now, and that's what I need to figure out. Like,
Especially now.
what was my day job going to be to support the things that I want to do, at least until I can make those things a full time. You know,
Exactly, and that's what everything's leading
That's the
to.
goal, right, yeah.
That's the main goal for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be able to not just work so hard. You
Yeah.
want it to be able to come naturally and like have a flow of money. Like all these artists that they've worked so hard in what they do to be able to have income coming naturally while they're still able to do that.
Yep.
And they're just like able to say, dude, when did you make it? I made it to where I don't have to work a day job to do this. I literally fund everything through this.
Yep.
And that's the main goal with everything, man. It's just to be able to live the dream of chasing the dream.
Yeah. It's like I said, yeah. A lot of perspective has changed for me because, like, I work emergency medicine now, and I got to see some trauma medicine. I worked emergency medicine for 2 years, and not to mention COVID in mixed with that, because emergency medicine, trauma medicine's it's one thing in its own. To work in an emergency room during a pandemic, which is, most of us have never even. I'm new compared to some of the guys that have raised me as far as that goes, but none of us have gone through a pandemic. Like no one has.
It was tough.
And I am curious. I'm curious to your perspective. I guess it would be a little bit different for you because you had special eds kids. So how did it work in your kid? I'm just curiosity. As much as you want to reveal or not reveal,
I won't reveal too much.
Well, you don't have to. But I am curious. Like, did you all still do Did you all do the virtual thing?
Everything was
like
virtual.
I guess I'm aware of that. But like, how did it work for you all? Like,
It was just hard. There's no way of explaining how difficult that aspect was. It's if I can put it in a metaphor or something, it's just like try teaching somebody how to change a tire through a video call. That's you can try, but it's just like, dude, get that little. So get the nut and go to the back of the truck, get this, and then you lose the internet connection. Like, what did you say? What did you say?
Yeah.
Get that thing there. Get what are you saying? That and you just start. It's just so hard to explain how bad. It wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time at all for anybody throughout the country to deal with anything like that.
Yep.
And then the mental state, the mental state of everybody working that job around the world was so difficult.
Mm.
That was tougher than teaching people, because at least my thing in what I do with music and my day job is being able to like get people to the potential of like realizing what they want to do.
Mm.
Like right now, um, I don't say I mentor him because he's doing a great job. There's a young guy named Edelstedt.
Yep.
He never asked me for anything, but he always sat and watched, and we talk daily. Like I'm probably gonna go see him right now play, and my thing was, what could I have done to help myself back in the day?
Mm.
And it's just like, well, I wish I had somebody in the music industry that wasn't gonna try to say, "Screw you, dude. This is my gig." I wanted a friend. I wanted to be able to have a friend to say, "Hey, man, how do I copyright this?" Or, "Hey, what do you think about this song?" Like, no, you know how it is in this music industry,
Yeah.
and being able to do that with my day job and my music career, it's just being able to do something that nobody did for me. Um, and going back to that virtual learning, it was the perfect time to teach everybody how to write an email, how to do things, that we learned on our own because of YouTube, because we grew
Right.
up on that
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
era,
Yeah, we did, yeah.
and now we get to tell people like, dude, you could learn everything you can possibly learn if you just learn how to use these resources that I'm telling you.
Right.
And yeah, that year was tough for anybody that was in education or any job.
Yeah.
That mental state of just, hey, I woke up at work. Hey, I'm going to sleep here at work.
Yeah, I can't, and yeah, and my experience was a complete opposite because I worked at a hospital, so I'm working 100 hours a week at this point. I did that for 6 months. I worked 100 hours a week for 6 months, and the mental state was, for me, it was what got me through was the fact that I had guys and girls under me, that me taking on the responsibility to make sure that of their well-being kind of let me put myself off, which is actually not a good thing because then I gained 20 pounds. I gained like 25 pounds.
Everybody gained weight.
Like,
Everybody.
and the thing is, I was gaining weight because of what I was eating. It's not, we didn't stop working out. We're doing hikes. We're doing 8-mile hikes, 9-mile hike, whatever we're doing. And it's still fair. It's fair weather. California's not that bad.
Stressing though. Would you say that?
That's all it was,
Because I
bro.
feel like I did.
And
nothing
also
but
like
that.
also time, like things would close at certain
Not even
times.
that. There's no
And
food
things would
available.
open. Yeah. and especially those, because the 2 weeks, the 2 weeks that the world shut down, literally. Then I was like, oh, wait, well, what?
And the toilet paper factories.
and that made me remember the baby wipe thing. I was about to be like, and then people were like freaking out about toilet paper. I'm like, and we're literally, like, I was literally like going to get toilet paper from our grocery store for one of our one of my girls, like one of my female coworkers, where they needed it. And they didn't have to work that day, but our leadership was like, oh, hey, can you go do this? I said, bet. And I said, how much? And then like, it was literally like one of the last ones on the shelf. I'm like, what? Like, it was too hard to believe, to some extent, right? It's like, really, like this is what you're worried about. Like,
Dude, the
to me, it
funniest,
didn't make sense. I don't know. I don't have a better way to describe it, but it just didn't make sense.
the funniest thing that I'll remember about that whole pandemic is that I was so stressed out with everything, bro. Literally, this time, yeah. It was probably like today.
Yeah,
or
we're already in March. Yeah.
It's
It's 2 years this week,
2
bro.
years ago, around this time, I know because it was spring break.
Yep.
I was like, let's barbecue, guys. I invited my friends over. My friends were still kind of like, screw that, let's enjoy ourselves. Like, we were kind of like trying to figure it out. And then, like, from one day to the next, everything was like, dude, yo, there's nothing at Walmart. What the hell? Let's go, guys. Let's get in the truck. Let's go see what there is. No toilet paper, no nothing. Well, I remember so well, and I'm probably gonna share it if I find it on my Instagram. That night, I made a pork butt. I made a pork butt. No. Yeah, I made a pork butt because that's all there was, because nobody knows how to cook those things.
Yeah.
I made a pork butt with oysters. That's all there was at the damn store. There was nothing but pork butts, briskets, oysters, shallots, and scallops. So we made some weird
just
weird
whatever
dinner.
you have left over. Oh, where they have
That was the funnest part though, trying to see like, all right, did watching Bear Grylls all my life pay off?
Is it gonna pay off? We'll
It-
find out.
And then
tonight at
it
7.
it paid off even more when that freeze came by.
Oh yeah, you guys dealt with that. That was okay for my. I wasn't here, so I didn't have to actually deal with it. But my all my friends and my coworkers that back over there in Southern California where I was, and why is Texas freaking out? I'm like, bro, like you guys don't understand.
We're
Like,
not
we're not
built.
ready for that,
We're
bro.
not built for that.
I'm like, it could be 110 degrees, 150 degrees, it's fine. You're built, your electricity bill is going to be high because of the aircon, but it's fine. You're going to survive. You're not going to lose electricity. But like a legit freeze, like I was telling them, they're not used to that there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been through it now. Like I've done certain things, but dealing with work that I've been out. It's like 35 degrees and fucking raining, and we're there sleeping in a tent. But, so I'm like, yes, guys, but they don't live the way we're freaking.
Well, we don't have houses built for that shit.
It's there,
Like
yeah.
literally,
not.
like my window's still cracked in my apartment from how cold it was. It was so cold, my window cracked. Like I'm like, what the hell happened here? And it just cracked, like for real. It's like,
Yeah.
those were fun times too. Because I made chicken pot pie outside in a barbecue pit. I literally had fun
That's
with it.
wild.
I'm like, all right, I got work,
Right.
and there's no gigs,
That's so crazy.
and I was literally like losing my mind, but having a good time.
Yeah, you're
There was no gigs. There was nothing going on. And I was like, man, I'm going to treat this like we're going hunting.
Yeah.
Because we would sleep in that cold.
Yeah.
I just put my
yeah.
thermals on, wrap myself in a bunch of blankets, and everybody's like, you're stupid. Come sleep in my house.
That's so funny. Going back to the quarantine real quick though, it's I guess the statement I want to make as far as the quarantine goes, like the fact that no one had work and no one had school or anything like that, like for a little bit, I wonder, and I don't know, you can help me, I guess, give me some sort of answer perspective, but at the beginning of it, even though yes, it was a health scare, it's a pandemic, it's this virus, we don't know what the heck it is. It's novel. Everybody kept using the damn word novel. I hated people using the word novel. It's like, okay, I got it. It's new. I got it. I
It
heard
turned
you.
into a novel.
Yeah, no kidding. But like, it's like everybody got to take the vacation they think they wanted because you got
It
some
was,
home. Not for everybody maybe, but like because everybody's like, oh, I don't want to work, or everybody's like, or not everybody. Okay, a lot of people. I guess
call it purgatory.
that's probably a better way to put it. That's what I think it turned into because people got to take time off. So it's like, oh, you get to be home and kind of chill and like sleep in and whatever. But that shit gets old really fast. And I think some people, it's just from what I saw in general, is that some people thought they wanted that. And it's like, no, you actually don't.
It was
want
cool
that.
for a little bit, for like 3 weeks, and
Yeah.
then at the end of it, it's just like, holy shit, I'm losing my mind here. I just want to play music. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do something. I want to go to Walmart at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Open it up. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Someone posted it on Instagram recently.
Yeah.
Like after
those are the
24-hour
worst
Walmart.
things in life. Not having open.
That was a
Walmart.
good one. I'm glad people responded to you on that. On
Nobody
those. That was
remembers
a good
that
one.
now. Like, we're gonna go into a year or two, and everybody's gonna forget that Walmart used to be 24/7.
I have not forgotten.
Like, dude.
Even living over there, I'm like, man, I know this is some BS because I was also part of that group of like, hey, bro, my cousins or whoever, like, hey, let's do a Walmart run. It's
Well, not
midnight
even
or
that.
whatever
It's
time.
like if you're in college and you're like, oh shit, I have a final due tomorrow, but I don't have this, this, and this. Nothing is open anymore. It's like why? But why though? Like I would want to understand like it's even
some of
safer.
it. I mean, the argument from the companies is that they're using it to re-sanitize, and so I get it. And there's actually a lot of good that comes out. It's like, yeah, you dirty ass people. Like, yeah, you should, like, especially not working in a
We should be doing that 24/7.
right. And having worked in the hospital, it's like, yeah, you dirty ass. Like, yes, you should do that. Okay, I can't argue with that because I am for that. Like as far as
Maybe
cleaning
it's
sanitize, but-
because nobody wants to work anymore.
bro, that's the problem in my opinion. Now, for everybody, like this is my opinion. I'm very amplified about it because people think they don't want to work. It's like, no, you just need to find the job that you want to work hard at. That's what it actually is. Because I agree, and I was talking to one of my nurses. This was like a few weeks back. I was like, ma'am, like I'm not telling you how to do this. I'm not saying that it's the right answer, but I think that everybody who has an ounce of complaining about their job, they need to quit if they can. Obviously, military members cannot quit their job because they're under contract, but they can eventually get out. And even then, sometimes people don't get out. People need to overhaul their careers, And one reason why people don't is because they're scared to learn something new.
True.
This is personal opinion, but I feel amplified about it because of what I've seen. It's like if you're so miserable, like why are you putting yourself through misery?
Yeah.
I'm not putting
I wouldn't be
through
able to
misery,
do the both things that I do that I love
Yeah.
if I didn't love them both.
which is fine. Which is
and
perfectly
and
fine.
I always live by the quote that you have to do things you hate to do things you love. And I mean, I don't hate what I do, but sometimes you got to go through it. I mean, I hated working. I worked like little insurance jobs, but I didn't like it because it was just like, man, I want to do something else. There's always something else. And then I got to the point where I did like something, and then no, I'm here where I'm at now. But like for reals, like I feel like there's a lot of stagnant people, and they're just. I think that's where we're at right now. They're just afraid. I want to say they're afraid because what if something else happens again and they're not that good at it,
Yeah.
and then they get dropped. Like
Yeah, and then that's it. I mean, it happened to my cousin. He knows, but I want to have him on the podcast sometime soon, hopefully, if I can. But either way, like, I mean, he poor guy. Like, so he had been working at place A, right, for like 6, 7, like for a while, for a minute. He had been there for a minute, and it was a grind because it was like he was doing sales plus like delivery stuff, right? So it was a grind that he was doing. And he was getting my dude, like, you need to start like applying. And the thing is, at this particular time, like 2018, he was applying. It's not like he wasn't applying. He applied here, he applied there. He was getting, you know, I helped him with his resume at some point, like to basically to update his resume because he had been at this one job for a long time, which is good because that shows stability, right? But he was getting more and more miserable, and it's like I'm like, okay. So finally, he gets hired for X job, right? Well, 2 weeks later is the beginning of COVID. And I'm like, hey, bro, like you got to go home. We don't have work for you. Like, we don't have work for you.
I think that's the scary thing right now for everybody.
And well, okay, to continue this little linger is so some of my relatives are teachers in the school district here and different parts of Edinburgh, right? But they were talking about how some of their kids were crying because of that because they still remember the 2 years ago of their last spring break where like, hey guys, go home, and then they're like, hey guys, you actually not coming back. Turn on your laptop, please. Turn to page 10. You know, like that.
I haven't thought about that. Like,
yeah. No, then they were saying, that yeah, some of the students were legit crying because they were scared they weren't going to come back. They're like, no guys, you're coming back. It's just spring break. You know, we have gone back to a normalcy.
I feel like we're good though. I think like, we went through the run. I think that if they give us another one, we're ready for it.
It's good. We're fine, bro. Like
First
the
thing you
ones
do,
that
get
I've
toilet
seen,
paper.
yeah, it's like toilet paper and
And dog food.
It's such a crazy time. Like, and one day I don't talk about the details of my job right now, just because I leave it away because that's not what the point of the podcast is. But one day I will get to the story time and give more details as far as my experience. But it's interesting going back to like, you know, kids, like imagine kids crying that they're literally traumatized now
It's freaky, man.
because they're like, oh, like what if we're not coming back? Like what if we're not coming back? And it's like, oh man, and how do you explain to a kid what a pandemic is? Seriously, like how do you explain to a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old? How do you explain to an adult what a pandemic is?
I don't know what
Like
it is.
seriously, these are just things that like they blow my mind because like it's hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know if we all acknowledge truthfully to ourselves how hard it is to actually go through something like this. You know,
Just surviving mentally, dude.
Yeah.
For real. It's
Yeah.
I think we talked about it last time. Everybody's cool now. The whole bar scene looks cool. Like everybody's like interacting.
I tell you what, I've gone to one concert. I got to see the Band Perry last year. They did a festival in
Far up us.
Huh?
Did they do it over there or here?
up Southern California
Okay.
where I
They
was at.
came
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, can we pair them?
They're
Anyways.
so updated now. It's so different.
Yeah. Well, I think they're running as a 4-piece because of the pandemic. Like they're running as a 4-piece.
I didn't know they changed up everything. For,
They did?
Yeah,
For
it's
this-
all
for this
electric music or something.
Interesting. Because they
How long ago was this?
they last May.
Oh yeah, they're different now.
Really?
They're not country.
Okay, well, I heard that EP, like Amnesia and like nostalgia. There's like nostalgia I actually like. So, but their live show was still like the Band Perry.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I have
really.
yeah, their live show was still the Band Perry at least a year ago when I saw them live. But I know what you're talking about because they have like a little EP, it's like a EP is all
It's like
electronic.
electronic music.
Yeah, it's like nostalgia and amnesia and like all this other.
Which is cool, but
It's
it's kinda
really weird. Anyways, what got me? What was I talking about?
Concert.
Oh, so I went to that one because it was outdoors. Um, it didn't sell out, but there was a good amount of people, but it didn't sell out. Um, concerts over there, bro, are not. It's not like Texas. It's different. It's different.
Over there is
Yeah,
different?
Yeah, it's different.
How
Like,
so?
because over it's LA. Like it's not okay. Where I was at, it wasn't LA. It was Southern California in general, but the people that there's not as many country people as there are like in the South or in Texas.
Bakersfield.
Right, really, like, even that, like there aren't, like there just aren't. The vibe's not the same. It's not the same.
It's changed.
They had, I mean, freaking Billy Ray Cyrus like was part of the opening bill for Van Perry. Like it was weird.
I can see
Like,
that.
It was weird, and like he was singing.
Well, I mean, it's not
it's
just
not
there.
wrong,
Well,
but it's like,
we're getting some of that now because you got like Snoop Dogg and Coetzel,
I heard about that.
and you
I
got
heard- I
Three
did
Doors
hear about
Down and Coetzel. Like it's changing, and then you have like I want to say in Poti, it's gonna be like Los Palominos with Randall King. Like
that. So
we're it's I going back to COVID, I think it has a huge factor in this.
yeah.
We got to immerse ourselves in music and movies.
Oh, 100%,
Music and
100%.
Tiger King and Netflix.
Tiger King. Bro, I watched one episode thinking it was like a movie
Nice.
doc. I'm like, I take my
Nice.
cousin to my cousin. He's like, hey bro, you can watch Tiger King, it's so good, bro. When me and my roommate we were watching it, and we thought it was a movie doc, and it
Mhm.
turned out to be a series doc, and I was like, bro,
I
I ain't
loved it.
watching this,
I
bro.
loved it, bro.
I did not. When I realized when I saw that it was more than one episode, I
I know
shut
that
it
there's
off.
more people like that out here somewhere. I want to see more of it. But music,
Yeah, going back to
we-
music changing.
I think people immerse themselves so much in music and barbecuing that it changed lineups now. Like lineups are different. I feel
Okay,
like
okay,
we're
that's fair.
so culturalized. Well, maybe it's just here. I don't know. Maybe it's just Texas right now, but Tejano country, rap country, it's like, hey man, we can do both. Let's do both.
Yeah.
Like let's put Snoop with
Because now they're saying why? Now they're saying why not?
why not?
Like, why not?
I mean, you have it on your Spotify. I think Spotify and Apple Music had a whole factor on this. It's like you're gonna go from rap to rock.
Yeah.
Why not just have a show like that?
That's cool. I am totally for innovation like that. Like I'm totally for because like that's how you're gonna move things, especially given now like how much mainstream media do you consume as far as like TV
None.
or anything?
None. Well-
That's I mean I'm not I don't want to sound biased, but I'm completely biased as far as like that's the point. It's
I might listen to a little bit of Fox and CNN in the morning sometimes just to see like especially what's going on with the world right
yeah.
now. But I have found myself being more positive in my mornings when I don't listen to anything
Yeah.
and just jam out to music. But I will catch up on some news and
If you
stuff.
ever, I'm not. Yeah, and that's. I think that's what we're getting away from. There's a difference between catching up on news and just seeing what's going on, but then going about your day versus having the mainstream
I
TV
feel like
on
social
all day
media,
long.
Twitter, and everything, and Facebook. Like if you follow CNN and Fox or anything or the Daily Report, like you're gonna get updated in like 2 minutes. Scrolling like, oh shoot, we're at war. This person died. Hey, did you know? And you're
Hey, Spotify went down,
yeah,
bro. Okay, I know I freaked out because I was
I
in
didn't.
transit.
Are you
I
the
was
one that asked
traveling.
me?
I tweeted. I said, "Who else is Spotify?"
And I looked, and I
fell off the face of the earth. My buddy Brian liked it because he's like, yeah, mine. And then you replied same. I was like, oh my god. And I was like in transit. I'm still like a whole day away from getting back here, and so I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because I don't have Apple Music. I just have Spotify only.
I don't have Apple Music either.
And I was like, am I gonna have to create an Apple Music account?
Dude, the scarier thing is, I think during COVID, or I don't remember what it was. That Facebook went down.
Yeah,
You remember that?
Yeah, when it was Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram.
Everything, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just like, holy shit, how am I gonna promote music? And then I'm just like, guys, we're gonna have to go back to flyers. And it's just like, it took me a hard second to realize, like, if someday social media just disappears, some of our careers have to restart.
I think it was Gary Vee. It was one of those guys that I follow. You know, one of like business motivational guys that I follow. But they had mentioned a different point, but I think it was him in this particular point where he's like every model on Instagram, if Instagram disappeared tomorrow, they would be done for, because they've made their living only on Instagram. And his point is like, be a good business person if you're going to do something like that, or if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to be on Twitter, you have to be on Facebook, you have to be on Instagram, you have to be on TikTok, you have to be on all of that. Like,
It's your wallet now at this point.
Yeah, right. And again, his argument was not like, oh, they're dumb, they should be doing that. It's like, no, it's a matter of fact that if you're only on one social platform, you might lose what you have.
I think
If you were
that's
to ever crash indefinitely.
I think that's what's helped us a lot lately. Is just I've been more active on social media on everything. Just adding, doing more.
Yeah.
It's hard work to I don't even know what the term is. It's hard work to social on media.
Okay, yeah, it's hard to produce content or continue the content
Well, no,
or
just
interact.
be social. Content is gonna come.
Oh,
but being social, like
you're talking about
liking things.
literal. Oh,
That's-
got you.
commenting
Okay,
on
that's what I was
people.
trying to understand. Okay. Yeah. To interact.
Yeah,
The ability to interact.
that is
hard.
something I wish I knew before this whole music thing started.
Okay. No, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Very cool, man. I think we're getting close to a good wrap up point today. We're about an hour and a half, considering all the freaking technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you before we're gonna do the final plug as far as your music and anything like that? But any final thoughts? Any final things that you'd like? The way I've been wording it lately, because obviously I don't have that many viewers like during the live stream. I think more of them come after the live stream. But is there anything that you'd like to just drop as far as personal thoughts? Anything that stuck out for you the most over the past 2 years? Any music advice that you could give? If you give one piece of advice, whether it's school or music or like the way you live your life and what you have learned. That's a lot of stuff, but is there any closing thoughts that you have before we wrap and get into your dates, your next dates and stuff?
I'm probably gonna go with like musical advice and stuff. I am not the person that you should listen to, but I live my life by a quote by Willie Nelson. And he said, "If you're an artist and a songwriter, anybody's advice shouldn't matter because it's your craft. How's somebody supposed to tell you what is in your head? It's yours. So do your own craft, do your own things. And I say this, do your own. Basically, do your own. That would be the banner right here. Do your own. Because I get a lot of slack for, hey, when's new music? You always said you're gonna put new music. And dude, we can sit here and I'll give you a good 1 hour show of nothing but originals. It's just, life is hard. You're gonna have to work extra hard just to save up that cash to record. Music is not cheap. I mean, you can make it cheap nowadays with all the technology you can buy and have it at home. But I'm not the smartest when it comes to creating, being a producer and mixing and mastering and all that stuff and editing, and you can only do so much by yourself. So, 2 things is do your own and be friendly with everybody. Don't be a jerk. There's a lot of jerks already in the music industry, just to be jerks, and you'll be surprised how many friends you can make out there. The amount of random people. I mean, just one for example. Like it blows my mind. I know that you remember Randall King coming down here when he first started with his glasses. Like he would wear his glasses on stage.
Really?
reading
I
glasses.
never saw him, but I didn't know he did that.
And it was the Randall King Band.
Yeah.
And I had just talked to him the other day on Instagram just about Tracy Lawrence if he was playing the next.
Oh yeah, because he
he-
had a couple shows with him.
He's
I
with
think.
Tracy and he's with
Clay
Clay Walker.
Yeah,
and I
saw that.
messaged him just to talk about, hey, did he play Before the Next Teardrop Falls? He's like, no, dude, that song's a banger. I was like, dude, that's hometown song right there, dude. And I just being genuinely nice to people, you'll be surprised who you'll meet. This dude has 80,000 followers.
Yeah.
You have a crap load of followers. I've heard him just message back to just I don't see myself as a big person, but It's so crazy.
Yeah,
Be nice to somebody, and it'll go a long way. Um, for instance, I a friend of mine. They have a band called Kinfolk, and they play all over San Antonio. And I thought it was so cool that when I met him, he was like, "Hey, dude, you're Ashes," and I hadn't met him yet, but it was so cool knowing that he was just like, "Yeah, heard a lot about you. You're a cool guy. They say good things about you." That's always a great thing to have, is just having people knowing you for your good side. Don't be a jerk. Basically, do your own, chase your own, and don't be a jerk, and it'll take you a long way. It really will. I'm a big believer in that.
Very cool, bro. Very cool. I had to switch the battery on the on the camera real quick. I'm like, oh my god, we're running out of battery. It's like if as if not having microphones working, we're bad enough. But anyway, got that. So cool, man. So do your own and be
humble,
nice,
be
be kind. Very cool, man. Thanks. I appreciate you joining me. So you need to post like the actual on your Instagram or something so that they can see where you're at next. I saw there's this. Hold on, let me switch the screen. Real
Oh
quick.
yeah, I had a flyer out somewhere. I just here look at this poster right now.
Because I know you have this one. Let me see. I'm trying to pause it. There you go.
That's where we're gonna be at. We actually get to announce it. We announced it on Saturday,
Okay.
so I get to actually formally announce it. That we're gonna be playing Far Hub Fest with La Mafia,
Oh, yeah, dude.
Solido, and Joe Nichols. I'm like super.
Is
excited.
that all one? That's one bill. That's one day.
That's all one bill. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
Dude, have you heard Joe Nichols' new record?
I'm diving into it slowly.
Bro,
I haven't fully listen.
Well, I happened to be on the road like when it came it came out. I guess last week or whenever it came out.
Traditional.
Super. Like there's some stuff that you know you're gonna go on the radio. Like
Yeah, you got.
he has
you
those one or
have
two.
to.
He has to have the one or two to three songs that are gonna go on the record. But there's two of them. It's like it's the first or second track, and then there's the one Good Day. I think Good Day Living or Good Day something.
I must check it out right now because I'm like so excited for this because I used to grow up throwing my voice out listening to Joe Nichols. If it was cool to be a fool, I'd be the biggest.
Yeah, I highly recommend his new record. It's top to bottom. It's like a 85. But there's two songs on there that I have on my jams list now that I'm like freaking like one's super country, and I don't want to play it right now because then we'll get cut off as far as copyrights and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But the first second one, it's super country. I sent it to Gonzo. I'm like, bro, and Gonzo he beat me. He had already listened to it. He's like, bro, I know. I'm like,
I
dude,
need to check it out.
like so anyway, so Joe Nichols, that's pretty dope. So Joe Nichols, La Mafia, Solido, and then Southern Ashes, April 9th at Far Hub Fest.
Downtown.
Very cool. Where do they? Are they gonna host it where that Top Golf used to be? Was that where they're doing that this year? Or?
I'm not sure about the area.
You know where?
Okay.
I'm just
but
curious.
I'm getting
like,
more
I'm just-
information because we just formally announced it on Saturday.
Yeah, because I know it just came out. It's fairly new.
And then we're gonna get to do. Also got to announce that we're doing the Watermelon Festival in Alamo. I can't say yet who's gonna be there.
Oh, bet. Okay.
but
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be at Watermelon Festival.
What day is that?
That is going to be. I just put the flyer of our dates. Watermelon Festival is going to be May the 14th. So that'll be further down.
This
the
one?
road.
Oh
Yes.
no. Okay, so here's your banner. Okay, cool. Bet.
Yeah, we got. We're gonna be in 5E Steakhouse on the 26th of this month. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Bet. So
Yeah, Port Aransas.
yeah, Port Aransas is this weekend, right?
Yeah, we'll be there this weekend at Texas Pride Sports Bar. That's gonna be really cool. Spring break on the coast. But
Do you know if they're having the Concrete Street? Anything Concrete Street?
I want to say Parker's coming.
Is he? Curious.
I'm gonna go try to check out our friend J.R. Castillo at the Pioneer Saloon right after because we play early. We play early on Friday in Port A, so that'll be fun.
Let's see what they got. Yeah, you're right. Park
Aransas
McCollum.
Pass, not Port Aransas.
March 19th is Park McCollum.
Yeah, he's got a couple people. I want to say John. I'm not. Correct me if I'm wrong. John Wolf's on the bill. There's a couple people on there.
See, sometimes they have.
It's the whole spring break on the coast.
Yeah. So well, I guess when we were in college, when I was in college, obviously I was over there. So,
He's such a nice dude, that guy.
Yeah.
That goes back to that being humble, dude. Because when we played with him, with Parker, it was raining and we didn't get to do a good sound check because they had to run their ears, which I get it. They're the big guys, and he actually asked his manager to come bring us to him to talk to him, and he apologized. It was really cool of him.
That's pretty
to
dope.
do that.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to the bill where who's opening up from, but it's cool
It is
how
right there.
Here we go. So
Mike Ryan, Slater Coulter, Jacob Steely. Slater's somebody I'm getting into. A friend of mine told me to get into him, and I really like his stuff. It's a little bit of what I'm trying to do,
okay.
to an extent, but not all the way. It reminds me of like a young Sam Riggs.
Okay. Man, Sam Riggs, that guy was cool. I got to meet him a couple times.
He's a cool dude.
There's a lot of these guys that like once they found their voice, or they really found where they can just work 100 hours a week and not care, that's where they went down. Like Sam Riggs, I feel like Sam Riggs did that because if you listen to the progression of his records, just the way it kind of changed and modulated.
Yeah.
Once he found his thing, because I feel like the last 2 or maybe 3 records, they're in the same direction. They're different. They have the individual characteristics, but they.
But he evolved like crazy. Dude.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Kind of just went like from a pecan tree to an oak tree.
Yeah.
Like, boom.
Yeah, no, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, so then when he did that, he made another record like that ish, and then I think he has 2 or 3. Like I said, it's 2 or 3 records that when he went to the pecan tree, it's like, oh, he changed.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, what's he gonna do? And he stayed in that zone, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Very cool. There's one last thing I guess I wanted to say about him. It has to do with like just these guys that are coming up. Oh, Park McCum, dude. I mean, he won the ACM Male New or was it New Artist of the Year?
New Artist of the Year.
Yeah, that's cool. And
That's
me.
super dope because like we started when he started.
Yeah.
And it shows you the magnitude of what you can do if you bust your butt and you hit. If you strike something, when you strike the iron when it's hot and you hit the right one,
And you had right.
it's just
right
boom, meet you in the middle.
Perfect year. Hell of a year.
Well, I still think that like meet you in the middle is just, or meet me in the middle is just like, dude, that was his first album and that shit just took off. Like, boom.
Just see it. And so just to wrap up with a little bit of business, where that's what Mark Cuban says. He's like, you don't need one idea to hit. You don't need whatever it is. Because for him, he has the Dallas Mavericks, and he has he's involved in crypto, obviously. Shark Tanks is actually later thing. Like he sold Yahoo. He was part of the Yahoo stuff back in like 99, 98. But there's a little excerpt I've seen on TikTok, I've seen on YouTube where he's always the same. It's the same excerpt where he's like, you just need one idea to hit. That's all you need. You need one.
But you gotta follow it. You gotta follow through.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's my goal with moving with life. And there's gonna come a time probably next year where I'm gonna have to take another pause because of work. It's just the nature. It's the nature of the beast. But as long as I can keep doing this, that's the goal too. So, do you have a website?
Not yet.
So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
Twitter,
Southern
Facebook,
Ashes, TikTok. Yes.
You can find us on there.
I know most of them are Southern Ashes Southern
underscore
Ashes.
Yes, sir.
Cool. And then this Friday or Saturday.
Friday we're gonna be at Aransas Pass, Texas Pride Sports Bar.
So Coastal Bend, you can go check you out over there. And then you'll be back in the Valley for that April gig, that April 9th.
We're back in the Valley. I gotta tell you because I'm done with this stuff, right?
Yeah.
We're actually gonna be gone again in Victoria.
Yeah, I saw that.
5D Steakhouse on the 26th of March. I'm gonna enjoy some downtime and go see Giovanni and the Hired Guns. I want to plug that one in because my good friend George Rice, he's thrown it at his brewery at 5x5. Big old shout out to 5x5, man. They've been big supporters of what we do.
I still need to go there. Eddie brought me a 6-pack from 5x5.
Yeah, we gotta go.
He brought me some FUBAR, and that stuff's good. So I definitely want to go.
Since you're here, let's go whenever you get the chance.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll figure out something. Because you'll be gone this week. We'll figure. We can even go during the week. We'll go during the weekend.
But they got Giovanni and the Hired Guns. And
when is that?
This is on the 25th.
Okay. Maybe if
let's go.
If everything plays out, then we'll go in. If you for y'all watching, if you want to go hang out, we'll be out there hanging out.
I'm gonna twist his arm. He's gonna go.
Yeah.
And then we'll be at 5x5 on April 1st. We're gonna play there. Yeah.
Is this April Fool's joke or?
No. This is sponsored. April Fool's joke is 5x5 will be called 10 that day.
Yeah. We'll call it the 10.
The 10.
The 10. Cool. Okay, cool. So everybody that was joining, someone is watching, but whoever's watching, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Mom.
Hope you enjoyed it. As far as moving with life, this is the macro goal, is having my friends and family and stuff that you guys see before, and then a lot of just me as well, because a lot of it's me bringing my thoughts, all of my thoughts, and it's my way of taking stuff off my chest, because I found that this is the medium that works for me, that I can be the most consistent with, whether I have a day for writing or not. AndyAcosta.blog is the website's going to lead you to everything now. I just started running that at the end of February, beginning of March, so about 2 weeks that I've had it up and running. It's super simple. It's my thoughts, some of my pictures that I've taken, and then obviously all the links to all of this stuff that we get to do. Matt, thanks again for coming on. I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you for always having me.
Have fun tonight. He's going to the Lost Talk show, so if you're watching this, you can go hang out with him at the Lost Talk show tonight.
I'm gonna try to
Who's
get him
playing tonight?
Texas Hill.
Texas Hill, and then
Casey James and a couple of guys that joined the band. They're all three together.
So Texas Hill is the band.
It's
Casey
the
James
band.
is
It's in there.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought, because okay, that was my confusion, because I saw the marquee for this week, right? And I'm like, but I didn't see Casey James
He's
like
in,
on there.
man.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just need some live music, man. When I got downtime right now, I'm trying not to sing because I need to sing.
And I just held you for like 2 hours, like.
No, we're good. It's better than singing. I've been killing my voice. I've been working.
Well,
too
you
hard.
sound the same as when I heard you like 8 months ago. I'm like, you need some you need some true downtime.
Yes.
You need some true let those vocal cords recover.
Big time.
You have a bunch of scar tissue. You need throat surgery like Keith Urban.
Yeah.
We'll get there when we get there. Anyways, we're done. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your week. Today's Monday. Enjoy your spring break. Oh, I always end with this. So take care of yourself mentally and physically. If you have a company, if you have in his case he has a band, whatever it is, you make sure you lead from the front, lead by example. Enjoy yourself, but also get into something that you're willing to strive to be better at, and then help someone. Maybe that can be a goal for the week, is help someone. All right, so we'll leave you with that. Have a good one, and we'll see you all next time.